So you're saying it's shocking, Bill, because it's 2020 and we're still alive? What was the...
if you told me it was 2012, I would have thought, yeah, I guess it is 2012 already. Wow,
Yeah,
where'd the time go?
Yeah, we're about to have an election and stuff, right? 2012, that sounds reasonable to me.
I'm trying to remember what it was, but somebody told me the other day that something happened in 1998. Oh, Frank Sinatra died in 1998. And I was like, how is that even possible? He's been dead for like an entire adult lifetime.
I saw something the other day that said, I thought getting old would take longer.
So, this is kind of the upbeat way we like to begin a new year. I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen
With thoughts
Green.
of death and mortality. Yeah.
We've actually tried to stall this process. We were supposed to start recording roughly 43 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and we finally, and I blame myself, but we finally got around to rolling the camera here. And this,
if it makes you feel any better, Bill and I blame you too.
Well, that's that's par for the course and well deserved. So this is a backstage meeting for those of you who are new to this enterprise, and we welcome you, the new members here. But you're going to get a much better welcome from the actual existing members, when you're on the member blog and in the conversations on the website, which you can see when you're a member. But this is the backstage meeting that we have for these weekly shows that we do called Right Angle. And we do a round robin kind of style of hosting these. So each week, one of us takes a show, and then on a 3-week cycle, one of us takes 2 shows. And so we all look forward to that with great glee. And did I say glee? I meant dread. So, and before we get going here, guys, I actually sent an email to the travel coordinator for the cruise the other day, and it seems like we are continuing beyond all belief to get people booking this cruise, Bill. In May 15th through the 18th, we're going to get on the Navigator of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean, one of their newer ships, I understand it. And we're going to do a Bahamas cruise with a day where we stop at a private island called Coco Cay, and we're going to have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs and perhaps even a little serious discussion, some live productions of both Right Angle and Bill Whittle Now and the Stratosphere Lounge. And when I say both, I mean 3 different shows.
And we got like 8 or 9 events planned in 2 days.
That's huge.
As normal, Bill has overscheduled everything. So, Bill,
nothing that's going to interfere with my drinking schedule, though, right?
Specifically,
the more
Bill,
quantity I pack in there, the less quality I have to supply. That's my motto.
Yeah, something tells me, Bill, that you and I are going to be doing the Weekend at Bernie's routine with Steve to make it look like.
My wife's been doing it for years. She's got that stuff down.
That's right. We're going to have to animate his corpse. But Bill, can you explain me a little bit? Because there is another thing on there that I don't fully understand. Something to do with the stars. Were you going to do a Carl Sagan impression, or what's going on with that?
Well, there are billions and billions. No, it's we're out at sea, and there'll be some lights from the ship, but most of the background glow in big cities will be gone. And since I did so much time in Miami Planetarium, I thought we'd do like a little astronomy thing. And I checked, as it turns out, the star charts. And somewhere around 9 or 10 or so on the night of the cruise, might be as late as 10:30 or something, people at the latitude of Miami can see something that is not visible anywhere else in the United States. And that is on the southern horizon, down low, a glimpse of the closest star to Earth, Alpha Centauri, which is the 3rd brightest star in the sky.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, it's cool to see. It's just, it's almost never visible because it's a southern star. And at the latitude of Miami, it gets about 4 or 5 degrees above the horizon, only on, certain months out of the year when it's not up at 4 a.m. or something like that. So we're
something tells me there are going to be a lot of short Bill Whittle members going down in front.
My job will be patrolling the railing of the boat and trying to explain to people that their flash is not going to help them if they're going to take a picture of this thing.
No.
Right. Actually, you lean in with that camera phone a little bit.
We had one
Zoom
of
it
those
all the way
blood
in.
moons or something, and everybody was it was a combination blood moon, super moon, right? We got the two at once, so everybody in my little
Right.
cul-de-sac was out there trying to take pictures of it, and there were folks out there with their flashes on, and I just kind of walked up to somebody and said very quietly, that's not going to illuminate something that's about 250,000 miles away. I think you might have better results if you just turn off the flash and hold the camera very steady.
Meanwhile, Steve comes out with his professional
or you could fire the flash
photographer.
2.5 seconds before you snap the picture. That's the thing
that's the trick. Yes.
That nobody really seems to get. Sorry, Scotty. Didn't
Well,
mean
you
to
just
step on you.
actually you just captured a picture of that star, a million years ago or whatever. So it's really not an accurate representation of the star.
4.3 years ago in
Yeah.
the case of Alpha Centauri. That'll be the newest starlight you will ever see with your own eyes.
So Steve's neighbors are all out there with their little smartphones, and Steve comes out with a rifle stock mounted with a camera and a lens as long as your arm. And he's like,
Kind of thing they used to track the Saturn V's going off of the Cape, But we'll encourage people to bring their binoculars if they have any. Yeah. And there's lots and lots of stuff out there that's available just for kind of a fun hour. It'd be fun to.
That will be fun.
well, that seems
And
really
thanks
cool.
for the heads up. I've got a decent set of binoculars. I'll be sure to pack those for the trip.
All right.
I would
share
not
them.
expect any less of you. So anyway, we're really looking forward to that. And like part of this, it's funny because I've been having conversations with our members over the course of the last week, even though we weren't making shows. I was doing some work on the website and then had some back and forth with some of our members. And one of the things that the members repeatedly talked about was the fun aspect of these shows. This kind of stuff that we have to cover and talk about can get pretty intense. But I think what we don't realize is how much people enjoy watching these shows, not because of our manifest brilliance, but because actually they're fun and we like each other's company. We enjoy being with the members, and I expect, Bill, that more than it's not going to be like 3 days of rage on the high seas. I think it's going to be there'll be a lot of laughter.
2.5 days of rage. No, it's like you actually put your finger on it, Scotty. You mentioned this a couple times. It's like, a lot of people may think, well, I'd like to go. Maybe I think about going, but I don't know anybody on the boat. And my feeling is, no, you know everybody on the ship.
That's right.
You know every single one of the hundreds of people that are going to come. They're probably your best friends, just haven't met them yet. It's so nice to be around people who feel not only the way that you do, but can explain why they feel the way that you do. That's a novel innovation in philosophy. So that sense of it's a small group, but it's a tight group, and we're all going to be available and have ourselves a fun old time. So. Cannot recommend it highly enough.
So if you go to billwhittle.com, you can't help but see the gigantic picture of the ship. And Bill, I had some comments that people thought that the original graphic looked like the doomed Titanic. So,
Oh no.
which is okay. I mean, there's
truth
going to be
in
that
advertising.
element of it. So
I would like to point out that lifeboats will be available at an additional charge.
that's the VIP
A
package.
small additional charge.
We have a there's a VIP option that includes lifeboat and life vest.
There's another upgrade that includes a cot for your room.
That's right.
Oh, excellent.
And in steerage,
Yeah, in steerage. I have to say that if the boat should go down and we're forced into the lifeboats, I think cannibalism will begin probably 25, 30 minutes after we're in the water.
That long.
why
Take chances?
I can't urge you strongly enough to Google the phrase, "O tyrannic, thy name be Bacchus."
Oh my God, the tyrannic.
Okay, so it's not going to be like that at all.
No.
We're going to have a great time. So we're
Hardly
really looking forward
any
to that.
sinkings, not much cannibalism.
You want to make sure that you get in there and book this thing while there's still room in the ocean for all of the members at billwhittle.com. The ocean is filling up fast. So,
Minimal cannibalism expected on the cruise.
that's right.
Asterisk.
Ooh, a
Offer
late
does
night
not
snack.
apply in Florida or California.
Yeah.
So much to Stephen Green's dismay, I dropped it on him at the last minute that when we
Literally.
when we took a week off, instead of doing what he would think and expect, and all righteousness would declare to be the case, that you would simply shift the whole schedule forward, and whoever was scheduled to do the members only or the special episode, the extra episode we do each week, that person would still have to do it. We would just kind of push the whole schedule back a week. But no, in fact, that's not what happened. No. We actually just leaped over that week as if it didn't exist.
Who got lucky on that one?
I don't know. I'll have to go back and refer to the schedule.
I think Bill got the big break this year, and
I was not going to say that. I need this job
as a way of thanking you for bestowing this great honor upon me with the extra bonus member segment. Not only am I going to do a lightning round, but I'm selecting nothing but the weirdest Florida man headlines just for you.
Excellent. Florida man headlines for in honor of the cruise.
There you go. You know,
why do you think we're getting on a ship to get away from Florida man?
That's right. I just thought of something. I've been wanting to share this with our members for a couple of months now, just to open up the curtain just a little bit. But when we left the old network and moved to BillWhittle.com, we had to get our little slate so the editor could have a little sound check for streaming our three little videos together. And for 3 years, I was doing this. Mash that thing down. I thought you needed a big loud noise. And then just a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, Bill finally tells us after 3.5 years of me just with the slate, says, you know, the pros just drop it and make a very gentle
the pros
noise.
is soft slate. They don't take their hands off the top thing. They manage to do something. I'm not very good at it, but something like that.
Just the barest hush of a whisper of a sound coming from your slate.
Because a bigger sound creates an echo, and it extends over a longer period of time. Can echo over a frame or two.
Well, I know that now.
I've actually already
3.5 years to tell us.
When I learned that, I went on to Amazon.com and I immediately ordered my velvet slate. It's coming from South Africa.
It's got rubber on both ends of the thing. Yeah, it's absolutely
It's got a smiling
silent.
photo of Mel Torme.
That's right. The velvet fog slate is what we call it. So anyway, so Steve, we've stalled long enough, and so you do, other than this kind of lazy man's excuse for an episode that you call Lightning Round, you actually do have another episode.
I do. I want to talk about the media and social media and the hysterical World War III response to the very targeted Soleimani assassination late last week. It was really something to watch. You guys on Twitter or Facebook at all, or even just read the newspapers?
We're on Facebook, and the stuff we post gets tweeted automatically, but I don't trust myself with the Twitter.
Well, you're wise.
I take several periodicals.
It was absolute madness. I collected some of the headlines here. I'll pull some of these up if I can find where I put this. Here it is.
Save them for the show. So you can save them for the show so you can see our appalled reaction.
But I ended up for our VIP members at PJ Media, I had to spend, I think, 1,400 words yesterday explaining using history and logic and facts that no, this is not the start of World War III. These are the conditions you need for a world war. We've actually had 4 or 5 of them, depending on how you do your math. The 7 Years' War, the Napoleonic Wars, World Wars I and II, and if you want to stretch the definition just a little bit, you can include the Cold War as well as our 5th global war. And the U.S. versus Iran is not a world war by any means at all. And I want to talk about this hysterical reaction. And
I love it.
And the prince we assassinated wasn't even Austrian, so
that's right. He wasn't Austrian. Not even an archduke. He was just a regular old duke.
That's right. So this is, as long as, because my topic, Steve, is going to, of course, be around this same idea, which is much bigger. But if we can keep that narrowly focused to the social media aspect for 2 reasons. Number one, because I don't want you to encroach upon my very loosely organized topic that's going to spread all over the place. But number 2, because I haven't been on social media since January of last year. And so
Hooray!
the thing is, you can't get away from it. because you can give up social media if you want to, but nobody else does. And so people are constantly telling you things that are on social media, and you just want to go, look, there's a reason why I'm not there. And it's not because I really wanted to know what was there.
But the thing is, I'm off of Twitter completely. My last tweet was back in February, and giving up Twitter is kind of like giving up smoking. The good stuff was really good, but then you realize that it's actually killing you from the inside out, and you give it up. But years later, you still kind of sometimes want a cigarette. And here it is almost a year later.
Just one puff.
Just a puff. And it's been almost a year since I've been on Twitter, and I still get that nag. Oh, I thought of something so clever. I have to share the world and show them how smart I am. But no.
That's right.
Don't give in.
I understand the 2020 version of Twitter has 30% less tar.
Well, that's important.
Call it Twitter menthol is what they call it.
No, the FDA has banned flavored Twitter.
It's cool menthol flavor.
So,
but Facebook, I still like. I don't tend to get very political on Facebook. It's mostly just here's something I wrote. If you want to read it, that'd be cool. And then cute stuff about my kids or my dogs.
Well, and in fairness, I actually do go to Facebook, but it's only because I'm posting videos to the Bill Whittle page of Facebook, so that people can see.
You post, but you don't inhale.
No, exactly.
No, that's well said.
Exactly
that's
right.
exactly right.
And every once in a while, like as you're going to that page, I see something that somebody posts, and I almost instinctively start to respond. And then I go, wait a minute, no, I'm Bill Whittle. I can't do this. Now, the personal things Bill actually posts on there, but just when we're just putting the videos up there, that's okay.
So if you ever see a post from me that says I'm a miserable, low-life tightwad who can't keep a schedule and has been known to, that's probably not actually me.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have given me your login. That's on you.
You'll have to kind of.
You just replied directly to Scott on that one.
I have a whole website that's just devoted to the Scott Ott word cloud, so you can compare whether the words used in that post would have been something I would have said.
Yeah.
And the defining sentence is if the term hog taint appears in a post, it's probably not me.
That was my New Year's resolution, is to use the phrase hog taint at least once in every segment. Or boar taint, excuse me.
Don't besmirch the sows. They have no taint. It's the boars that we have to be concerned about.
Boar taint.
Okay,
boar taint.
So I, for my episode, obviously this is a major thing, kind of a shocking development, this drone strike on Qasem Soleimani or Soleimani. Anyway, so I have, by reading a number of stories and by talking to some people, I've sort of gathered up a menu of concerns that people have about this, and they're kind of wide ranging. But I just kind of like to deal with them, if at all possible, in a way that says, hey, maybe people who have these concerns legitimately have concerns, and if we could possibly address them in a way that would help them to understand, not as
much in the way that we didn't do yesterday.
Much in the way we didn't do on the episode.
Like, can't we just mock these people instead? It's what they deserve.
No, I've done a lot of mocking.
Oh, we've already done that. So, but I do think I think it's an easy temptation for people on either side of the political aisle to immediately brand everybody who's not on their side of the aisle as having some sort of character defect or being stupid or being evil or being whatever. But I don't think everybody on the other side is like that. And obviously, if you want to grow your party, where are those people going to come from? They're going to come from not in your party.
Yeah.
So if you want to win them over, somehow you've got to get your message through to them in a way that goes beyond just saying, hey, you're wrong, you're evil, you're stupid, and get out.
How about, listen, you idiot, I'm only going to tell you this one more time, and I'm only going to... So listen closely. I'll speak slowly so you can understand.
It's for your own good.
That's right. Scott, my favorite, maybe I'll mention this during the segment. I didn't think it was going to fit in to either one of ours, but maybe it would. But I'm halfway there now. I may as well mention it. But my favorite attack on Trump right now is that his killing of Soleimani was racist. The Caucasian people come from the Iranian plateau. Iran and Aryan have the same root word. These are the whitest people in the world. They might have better tans just because they're a little south, but they are literally, this is the white homeland, Iran. The Persians were the first white people. They are Aryans.
That's one that I hadn't heard yet. So feel free to bring that into the mix. But I guess my idea,
people know nothing.
When it comes to political persuasion, I think some of us have gotten to the position where we basically say, look, it's a waste of time to try to persuade them out of their bad ideas. But unfortunately, those same people are not willing to breed them out. In essence, you're not willing to create enough babies to bolster the population of people who share your political viewpoint to overcome that. So somehow we're working with a relatively fixed set of humans in this country. And I have this crazy idea that maybe we could win some of them over,
I think you're right.
Wild.
So anyway, so that's the idea, and we'll go through several different topics, and then I'll have some of my own, thoughts at the end of that. But I think this, like many other big things that happen in the news, this is a learning opportunity for everybody. It's a learning opportunity for us to read and help to understand what's going on, and frankly to help understand why people who disagree with us see things the way they do. But it's also an opportunity for us to be instructive in a winning way to people who don't see things the way we do. And I've had several people contact me and basically say, hey, well, what do you think about this? And they're people who love and respect me, and they're not being dismissive of me. Even though right now they think I'm whacked, but they're just thinking, they're like, okay, let me hear your point of view. So in case there's anybody out there like that.
We'll do a show so people can look and say, who's that guy in between Steve and Scott who's saying rational things about why this is not anything to worry about.
No, and the way they say that, what you just said, the way they say that is, Bill, you need to fire that guy.
I'll tell you what. I hadn't heard people. When we did the Bill Whittle Now yesterday, it's like that was the first I'd heard that there were people saying, "Am I going to get drafted to go fight in Iran?" No, better people have already done that for you. You can go back to sleep now.
And we won't probably deal with that aspect of it, but you got to realize that if somebody says that, unless they're just being comic or provocative or whatever, if somebody literally is worried that he's going to get drafted, well, that's kind of a fragile state of emotional existence that they're in. And so if you have an opportunity to bring comfort to them instead of just smacking them down and say, no, you moron, you're not going to get drafted, that doesn't make them walk away going, oh, I'm a moron and I'm not going to get drafted.
Which would you rather be?
Because I'm 4F.
Would you rather be a moron or would you rather be drafted? Because no matter what your choice is, you're gonna end up in the moron camp.
The Pentagon.
But in any event, no, I will do my best to strap myself in and restrain myself. I'm going to have one of those Hannibal Lecter masks in front of me and then be tied to a board. But I'll do my best.
And this is just another one of and you can go back over the history of the show for the last 270 years, and you will see that I've made numerous attempts along this line, all of which have failed miserably.
Yes.
Miserably.
But I never give up.
We're ready for 271.
Well, we're much easier on Right Angle than we are on Bill Whittle Now because first of all, we know what's coming on Right Angle.
Yeah, well, that's true. And frankly, it's my fault because on Bill Whittle Now, I have primed you to think that at all times I have a shiv under my vest.
Yes, it's an ambush. Every segment is an ambush.
Okay, so that's it for that. And then Bill,
I regret nothing.
You've got nothing, and so, ladies and gentlemen,
I said
that's
I regret nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, I want to talk about. I think an event that's actually a lot more significant than the bombing of this murdering SOB, and that is Ricky Gervais taking down the Academy, not the Academy, Golden Globes. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
As I'm sure I've mentioned many times before, I was an editor on a movie talk show called Sunday Morning Shootout. We did 180 episodes, I want to say, over 4 or 5 years. This was backstage between Peter Bart and Peter Guber were the hosts, and we had A-level talent on there all the time. I mean,
and more people know about Sunday Morning Shootout because of your mention of that show on this show than they do from actually watching that show.
That would be great. But I got to see 180 episodes, and most importantly, as an editor, you get to see and hear what goes on between takes and before takes, and so you get all the kind of, hot mic kind of stuff. And I haven't heard from Hot Mike in the longest time, by the way. I'm really getting concerned. Anyway, the one thing that you would use this time of year, is called kudos season in Hollywood. It's a cynical term employed by cynical people who nevertheless continue to laud praise upon themselves in some desperate attempt to fill the black hole of need that exists inside all of them. And that's what it is. It's kudos seasons. It used to be the Academy Awards, and it's Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, and it's Academy Award, Golden Globes, SAG Award, People's Choice Award, Writers Guild Award, Directors Guild Award. There's the Extras Guild Award. There's the best performance by a part labeled Panavision, and all of it. This. And it's just this, this congratulatory thing. And when these people represented America and American values, and not just American values, when they actually had respect for the American people, they may have been doing these horrible things in private, but they would come out and be good family people for the good family people that were paying the money. I think we could tolerate it, but I think for the last 20 years now, Hollywood doesn't realize that every single year, more and more people have decided that they're the enemy, that we're paying you to make fun of us and to belittle us. Every single Hollywood celebrity that comes out in favor of impeachment, in my opinion, comes out against my vote for Donald Trump and my continued support for him, and they're just basically telling me I'm an idiot and so on. And so for those of you not familiar with what happened, Ricky Gervais is a very funny guy, very liberal guy.
Creator of the British Office, upon which the American Office show was based.
Far superior show, I have to say. And is an exceedingly funny guy and handles cringiness better than any human being I've ever seen.
That's the secret of his humor right there.
You just the characters he creates just do such awkward things, and they're so uncomfortable. You just want to crawl under a desk. Yeah,
if you haven't, if you want to know Ricky Gervais, just Google Ricky Gervais David Bowie and watch the video.
Oh my God,
that was on
Small
Extras,
little
right?
Man.
I don't even know what it was on. I've only ever seen the clip.
It was on Extras.
Yeah, that was a great little show.
Yeah. I'll just elaborate just for a second since Scott brought it up. On that particular show, he's a guy who starts out as an extra, and then he's got these very high-level ideals about, acting and so on, but he finds himself the star of a show where he does he does a gag line, a recurring line.
Like catchphrase.
Like the catchphrase show, right, exactly. And he's so... He goes to this low-level pub and he walks in there and people go, "Oh, say the catchphrase, kid, say the catchphrase." I can't stand these savages anymore. So he goes off to this high-level party and he tries to ingratiate himself with David Bowie, and David Bowie just is immediately onto him as being this kind of, wall climber
pathetic
and stuff.
Character.
And then David Bowie starts improvising a song about him, fat little man, in an ugly gray suit or something along those lines. Utterly humiliates him.
Bowie was
Ricky Gervais, and then he goes back to the pub to soak up the glory of being
humiliated.
The catchphrase guy. It's better to be the catchphrase guy than a nobody, he's really brilliant. Anyway, he got out there. It's the fifth time hosting the Golden Globes. He began his monologue by saying, "This is my fifth time and the last time I'll be hosting the Golden Globes," and proceeded to eviscerate that crowd. And I don't mean the kind of humor where it's a little edgy. I mean, it's just like a stab in the eye, stab in the eye. I know a lot of you, I'll catch up on it, but it's words to the effect of, "I know a lot of you didn't get on Epstein's plane to go down to his island. Most of you took your own planes." And in the end of it, his final 60 seconds are the most astonishing thing I've ever seen. He really basically says, "So listen, what's St. Greta's last name?"
Thunberg.
Who?
Thunberg.
Schönberg, yeah. So he basically says, "Now look, most of you out there have had less schooling than Greta Thunberg. And so when you win your award, nobody really cares what you have to say about politics or anything. Just come up, take the award, and then get the F off stage." And you can see these constant cutaways of all these people with these kind of forced smiles on their faces. And you can see them looking at each other like, he's insulting us with the cameras on, this is going out to the knuckle draggers out in flyover country.
And the knuckle draggers applauded the four of us who actually watch these things.
Oh, dude. And then you see the clip on video on YouTube. It's something like 5 million views now. I checked it yesterday. I'll check it again before the show. But at 2.7 million views, there was 137,000 upticks and a little over 1,000 downticks. It was 137 to 1 in terms of people saying, you monkeys in Hollywood are just the most disgusting people in society. And I really think this is much more important than the airstrike. I mean, it's yet another sign that not only have we long past peak progressivism, but it is now reaching the point where they are not only are they no longer respected, they are enthusiastically mocked and degraded for being such sanctimonious, virtue-signaling hypocrites.
Bill, this is why they're going after the Babylon Bee, for the exact same reason. It mocks the left right where they live in a smart and funny way. And they can't stand it. They absolutely cannot stand it.
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to say it's fake news. We need to block this Babylon Bee ad where it says Democrats demand that American flag be flown at half-mast after Soleimani assassination. And so people will think this is serious. It's like,
no, they don't.
But it sounds serious. It sounds close enough. So that, if I turned out that was the truth, that's what great satire is. It's funny, makes you laugh, but it's so close to target that if it turned out it was true, you wouldn't fall out of your chair.
Bill, this gets to something I talked about with you guys so long ago. You probably don't remember. This could be 8-9 years ago. I've got a little theory about humor and satire in particular. The lowest, there are three forms of satire from low to high. The easiest, cheapest form of satire is just simple sarcasm. That's where you say something in such a way that everybody knows you don't mean it. Like, gosh, I love taking out the trash, right? That is your absolute lowest level of satire. The next level of satire is when you say something you don't mean, but in a way clever enough that people think maybe you do mean it. And the highest level of satire is when you say something you don't mean, but in such a perfect way that people think they might actually believe it themselves. That's what Jonathan Swift did with A Modest Proposal. He'd actually get some heads nodding. Oh, maybe we should eat the Irish babies. That kind of makes sense. And this is what the Babylon Bee does. Maybe not quite to the Jonathan Swift level, but close enough, day in and day out.
The headline I just saw from them, this came out January 6th, Iran declines to sign Colin Kaepernick after reviewing workout video. And it says Colin Kaepernick sent his workout video to Iran after learning that they may have recently opened up a position, but he's yet to receive a phone call. Because Kaepernick had made some statement about
know who those guys are?
The founder of the site has sold it and isn't doing it anymore, but the new owners, and I don't know who it is, have really expanded on it. The other guy, John, I can't remember his name.
I should know this. But...
Yeah, he used to put out, one, maybe 2 pieces a day, if that. And they just, I guess they hired a bunch of really sharp people to run that site.
Years ago, when I got my start in doing satire, there was the predecessor to that kind of was an inspiration to me was a site called Satire Wire, and and so this is pre-Scrappleface days, and I actually wrote to them because they shut down, and it was a great article when they shut down Satire Wire. They said Satire Wire is actually closing over creative differences. Well, Satire Wire was being run by one guy.
One guy, yeah.
So I wrote to that one guy and I said, hey, rather than close it down, why don't you just let me run it? To his credit, he never responded to me.
All righty then.
Okay, so we've now run for quite a few minutes, 34 minutes and 15 seconds I have on the clock, but...
We've reached our contractual obligations is what you're trying to say.
And what I'd like is just for our editor to go in and just cut out the nuggets and leave those on the cutting room floor and leave the dross for our audience.
There you go.
Having had to do this for decades, Mark, I'll tell you, just go after the L's, the S's, and the T's.
That's right.
Just take those out and you'll get us under 30, no problem.
Excellent.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are quite grateful to the members at BillWhittle.com who've made it possible for us to pursue this profligate lifestyle that we do. After all, we're riding on cruise ships with people who adore us, or something like that.
We're staying in Best Westerns, and yeah.
Not the mediocre Western, mind you.
Only the finest Keurig cups for me. So we are grateful for your help in making this possible, for your help on the blog. You will see, as long as I'm able to successfully execute this, some changes coming up on the website that are designed to make it a little easier to use, a little easier to navigate, and frankly, a lot more fun to be part of. And keep in mind, as you're writing on that website, that all the time we are getting new members and new people who are coming in. So that's kind of the cool thing. Like there's a cloister of friends there already, but they're always open to the new folks that are coming in. And if you're one of those new folks, please jump right into the comment section. Go ahead and post something on the blog. Every once in a while, somebody posts something and says, hey, this is who I am. This is my background. This is what I'm interested in. And just to generate conversation, feel free to do that, and we'll be grateful for it as well. We read them as well, and I am often have an opportunity to interact with members there. Bill, yes, you have something to say.
I just wanted to say, Mitch Hedberg had a line that I love so much. He says, I was staying at a hotel. I can't tell you which hotel it was. Let's just say that 2 trees were involved.
Mitch Hedberg, unbelievable. So that's it. That's all we got. And we are going to record this week's episodes of Right Angle, which you will be able to see day after day, 5 days a week, producing content here. Not like the slacker week we had last week. No, we're serious about it now. And we look forward to you
being the first week we've taken off ever?
It may be. Yeah.
Well,
did we take weeks off? We took weeks off at the previous.
Yeah, we did.
The only bad thing about it was that I thought, and I told our members that we were taking off Christmas week, but then we didn't. We actually produced content during Christmas week, and then I didn't know till after that we were taking off the following week. And so I was completely confused.
I am the Erwin Rommel of CEOs.
The Desert Fox of programming.
Never let your people know what you're going to be doing.
I read your book, You Magnificent Bastard, and it was just a bunch of scribbles.
That was patently offensive. Okay, so that's it. No more. We're going to go record these shows. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. I'm Scott Ott. We appreciate you watching.